There is a 76-year-old man who takes his coffee at the counter of the same diner every single morning, and he is the sharpest-dressed man any young person in that place has ever seen. He is not going anywhere. There is no occasion. He is a retired man drinking a cup of coffee on an ordinary Tuesday, and his jacket fits like it was cut for him that week. His shoes throw back the light, his collar is crisp, and there is a folded handkerchief in his breast pocket that costs almost nothing and finishes the whole picture. The young men who come through in their $200 sneakers and their oversized everything look next to him like they got dressed in the dark. They cannot understand it. He is 50 years older than they are, spends a fraction of what they spend, and makes every one of them look like a boy playing at being a man. He learned how a long time ago from the sharp old men of his own youth, and he never unlearned it. And the one habit underneath all of it, the plainest reason older black men stay sharper than men half their age, is number one on this list. He is not rare. In every black neighborhood in the country there is a man like him, the retired man still pressed for church, the old deacon in a suit that fits like a glove, the grandfather sharper at 75 than his grandsons at 25. It was never about money, and it was never about youth. In fact, youth gets in the way of it, which is exactly why these men only get sharper as the years take everything else. Dressing well has always meant something particular to black men, a way of asserting dignity in a country built to deny it, of saying, "I am somebody with nothing but cloth and care." It runs from enslaved people saving scraps of finery for their Sunday church clothes, to Frederick Douglass dressing to command respect in a society that refused it to him, to the sharp men of the Harlem Renaissance wearing their pride on their backs. A tradition so deep, the Metropolitan Museum of Art built a whole exhibition around it in 2025. The old men carry that tradition in their closets and on their backs, and they wear it every ordinary day. We have watched them do it our whole lives, and never once studied how. Today we study it. Number 12 takes about 2 seconds at the door, and it is the last thing every one of these old men does that the young ones never think to. Number 8 is the exact opposite of what a young man believes about looking sharp, and it is the very reason these older men look better than men decades younger. And number 3, the thing an old man has that no young man can buy, borrow, or fake, the thing that makes him the one everybody else measures themselves against, is where this whole list ends. Number 1, these were never about vanity or fashion or keeping up with anything. They are about a man deciding that he is worth the trouble of being put together every day, whether anyone is watching or not. And that quiet decision is the thing that reads as sharpness across a whole room. The world got faster and sloppier and started dressing like it had given up, and the old men just kept doing what they always did, until one day the plainest habits started to look like a lost art. They are not lost. The old men still have them. Hit that subscribe button, and let us count down the 15 lost style habits that made older black men sharper than men half their age. Number 15, everything fits. The first thing you notice about a sharp old man, before color or cost, is that his clothes actually fit him. The shoulders sit right, the sleeve ends at the wrist bone, and the trouser breaks clean over the shoe with no bunching and no flood. He does not wear his clothes big or small. He wears them cut to his body, and if they do not fit that way off the rack, he knows a tailor who will make them. That 76-year-old at the counter has every jacket taken in until it looks bespoke, though most of it was bought plain. Eldridge Vann visits a tailor twice a year in the Hill District of Pittsburgh and would not be caught in a thing that hung wrong. The young man buys everything 2 sizes too big and thinks the label is doing the work. The old man knows the truth the whole industry hides. Nothing else about an outfit matters if the fit is wrong, and everything is forgiven if the fit is right. Fit is not expensive. It is just attended to, and the old man attends to it. Number 14. He owns less and better. The sharp old man does not have a closet crammed with things he wears once. He has a small, considered wardrobe of good pieces, a few suits, a handful of fine shirts, 2 or 3 pairs of real shoes, and he wears them in rotation for years, cared for and kept up. Roosevelt Meade has worn the same Navy suit for 15 years in the Fillmore of San Francisco, and it has never once looked 15 years old. A young man buys 10 cheap things a season and looks cheap in all of them. The old man buys one good thing and looks like money in it for a decade. He learned that quality outlives fashion and outlasts the wallet, that a single well-made jacket beats a mountain of disposable ones. The full closet is the young man's mistake. The old man edited his down to only what was good and only what was his, and he has looked sharp on less ever since.
Before we go on, I made something special for you. A guide for men who still believe a good name and quiet dignity carry weight, the way our fathers and grandfathers did. It's the Black Gentleman's Code, the forgotten rules black men once lived by. But this knowledge is disappearing, and once it's gone for good. So don't spend another year being the man people overlook. Scan the QR code on your screen or click the link below. Go ahead, I'll be right here waiting.
Number 13. He keeps it pressed. There is no such thing as a wrinkled, sharp man. Whatever the old man is wearing has been pressed to a clean edge, the shirt smooth, the trouser holding a crease you could draw a line against, the whole thing looking cared for rather than pulled off a heap. Cornelius Pate presses his own shirts before church every Sunday on Farish Street in Jackson at 80, because he never once trusted the job to anybody else. You can smell the hot cotton and hear the hiss of the iron in a house where a man still does this, and the men raised in those houses never got the wrinkle out of their souls, let alone their shirts. A wrinkle tells a room a man rolled out of bed and gave up. A press tells it he took 10 minutes to respect himself and the day. The iron is the cheapest tool in the house, and it does more for sharpness than anything money can buy. The young man leaves his clothes in a wrinkled pile and wonders why he looks rumpled next to a retiree. The old man made peace with the ironing board decades ago, and it has kept him crisp ever since. Number 12. He takes the last look. Here is the 2-second habit the young men never think to do. Before the old man steps out the door, he stops at the mirror and takes one full, honest look at the whole picture. Collar straight, tie sitting right, nothing twisted, nothing out of place, shoulders brushed, shoes clean. He fixes the one small thing that is wrong, and there is always one small thing, and then he goes. Garrett Poole checks himself head to toe at the door of his home on Central Avenue in Los Angeles every single time and has caught a crooked collar 1,000 mornings. That last look is the difference between a man who looks nearly sharp and one who looks completely sharp, and it costs 2 seconds. The young man photographs himself for other people but never actually inspects himself for himself. The old man does not trust the day to tell him what is wrong. He checks, he fixes, and he walks out, finished. Number 11. He grooms like it matters. The clothes are only half of it. The man inside them is the other half, and the old man is groomed like it counts. A fresh cut every week, the hairline clean, the beard trimmed to a line, or the face shaved smooth, the nails cut, nothing wild or neglected anywhere on him. Amos Fielder gets a cut every Saturday morning in Greenwood at 79 and has not let his edges go gray and shapeless a day in his life. Grooming is nearly free. It costs time and attention, not money. And it is the frame around everything else a man wears. A sharp suit on an unkempt man is a waste. The same suit on a freshly groomed one is a picture. The young man lets himself go ragged and leans on the outfit to carry him. The old man keeps himself sharp from the skin out, so the clothes have something worthy to sit on. Number 10. His shoes are always right. The old man is red at the feet, and he knows it, so the shoes are never the weak link. One or two good pairs, real leather, shined to a shine you can see your face in, and resoled and rehealed forever, rather than thrown out. Wendell Cross has kept the same pair of good shoes alive for 20 years in the Ville of St. Louis, rebuilt 3 times, and they look better than any new pair on the block. A rundown heel or a scuffed toe collapses a whole outfit from the ground up, and the old man will not allow it. He shines them at night, the way his father shined his, brush and rag and a tin of polish on a spread newspaper, until the leather glows and the whole kitchen smells of wax. The young man drops $200 on sneakers and lets them fall apart. The old man spends less, keeps them forever, and stands on shoes that finish every outfit instead of ruining it. Here is the part worth sitting with. That 76-year-old at the diner counter is dressed better on his pension than most young men are on their paychecks. And it is not because he tries harder, it is because he learned something we unlearned somewhere along the way. Looking sharp was never about spending, chasing, or keeping up. It was about a handful of plain habits: fit, care, restraint, consistency, that cost almost nothing and never go out of style, because they were never in style to begin with. They are simply what looking put together has always meant. Today, a young man will pay $200 for a ripped, oversized, logo-covered thing and look, to anyone who actually knows, exactly like what he is: a man who bought an outfit instead of learning to dress. The old man would find that baffling. He spends little and looks like everything because he learned the habits instead of buying the look. We got it backwards. We have more clothes and more money than these men ever dreamed of, and we look worse than they did on a Tuesday. Number 9. He wears quiet colors. The sharp old man is not loud. His palette is deep and quiet. Navy, charcoal, gray, cream, earth tones, a white shirt clean as a fresh page, colors that read as money, hide their age, and never once look like a man trying too hard. There is no name across his chest, no logo shouting a price, nothing announcing what anything cost. Theodore Rand wears nothing but quiet, deep colors in his Overtown neighborhood in Miami and is taken for a banker every day of his life. The surest sign of real style is that you cannot tell where any of it came from. The young man wears the loud color, the bright logo, the thing designed to be seen from across the street, and it reads as insecurity. The old man wears the quiet thing beautifully, and it reads as a man who has nothing to prove and knows it. Number 8. He dresses his age. Here is the opposite of what a young man believes. The old man does not chase youth in his clothes, and that is exactly why he looks so good. He is not squeezing into what a 20-year-old wears. He dresses like the man he actually is, dignified, settled, appropriate to his years, and that honesty reads as sharpness, where imitation would read as sad. Grover Seeley, 77, dresses like a distinguished elder on a deep Elm Street in Dallas, not like his grandson, and he outshines his grandson at every family gathering. There is nothing sharper than a man comfortable being exactly who and how old he is. The young man who dresses like an older, wiser man looks like he is reaching up. The old man who dresses his age looks like he arrived. Trying to look younger ages a man. Dressing like the man you are is the most flattering thing you can do, at any age. Number 7. He minds the details. The old man understands that style lives in the small things the untrained eye never notices, but everyone feels. The belt matches the shoes, the metals agree, the tie ends at the belt line, not above or below. The collar is the right size for his face. The socks are considered, not an afterthought. Sylvester Boone would not leave his home in Bronzeville with a brown belt over black shoes any sooner than he would leave it barefoot. These details cost nothing but knowing, and knowing is the old man's whole inheritance. The young man gets the big pieces and ignores the small ones, and the small ones are exactly where the difference lives. The old man tends every inch of himself because he learned that an outfit is not the suit. It is the sum of 100 small decisions, and he has made every one of them right. Number 6. He never overdoes it. The young man's instinct is to add more color, more jewelry, more logos, more everything, until he is shouting. The old man's instinct is to edit. One fine watch, not a wrist full of gold. One statement, not 5 competing ones. He takes one thing off before he leaves rather than putting one more on. Marcus Coleman wears one good ring and one good watch on his Sugar Hill block in Harlem, and nothing else, and reads as a man of complete taste. Restraint is the mark of a man secure in himself. Excess is the sound of a man unsure he will be seen. The old man learned that the sharpest outfit is the most disciplined one, that true style is knowing what to leave out. The young man adds until he is loud. The old man subtracts until he is clean, and clean is what wins the room. Here is the part of his story we have been circling. That old man at the counter was not born sharp. He was a young man once, in clothes that did not fit and colors that were too loud, striking out at looking good exactly the way his own grandsons do now. But he came up around sharp old men, a father who pressed his one suit every night, an uncle whose shoes you could see your face in, the old heads outside the barber shop who dressed like kings on nothing. And he watched them for years, sure there was a secret. He watched them buy less and better, mind the details, wear the quiet color, take the last look at the mirror. And slowly, over a lifetime, he stopped looking for the secret and simply became one of those men. Until one day, decades later, he looked up from his coffee and realized the young men at the counter were studying him the exact way he once studied his elders. The habits had passed to him without his noticing, the way they only ever pass, not taught in a store, but caught from an old man by a boy who paid attention. And the one habit those old men had above all the rest is still coming. It is number 1. Number 5, he knows the codes. The old man knows what an occasion calls for and meets it exactly. The right thing for church, the right thing for a funeral, the right thing for a wedding, the right thing for a Tuesday. He does not show up underdressed to a thing that mattered or overdressed to a thing that did not. He reads the moment and dresses to honor it. Harmon Vale has never once been dressed wrong for an occasion in his Jackson Ward world in Richmond because he learned the codes young and never forgot them. Knowing what a moment asks of you and giving it is a form of respect for the event, the people, and yourself. In a world that told a black man he did not belong in the fine rooms, dressing exactly right for each one was a quiet way of insisting that he did, and the old men never surrendered that ground. The young man wears the same slouchy thing to a funeral and a cookout and does not know the difference. The old man knows every code by heart, so he is always exactly right, and being exactly right for the moment is its own kind of sharp. Number 4, he wears it. The finest outfit collapses on a man who wears it apologizing, and the plainest one soars on a man who wears it like it is simply his. The old man wears his clothes. They do not wear him. He stands straight, moves unhurried, carries himself like a man at home in what he has on, and that carriage does half the work of the whole outfit. Booker Reese, 80, walks into a room on his Central Ward block in Newark like the clothes and the room both belong to him, and people straighten up when he comes in. A young man in a fine suit who slouches and fidgets looks like he borrowed it. An old man in a plain one who stands tall looks like he owns the world. The clothes are only ever half of it. The other half is the man inside them, and the old man has spent a lifetime becoming worth the suit. Number 3, he is the standard. This is the thing an old man has that no young man can buy or fake. Over a lifetime of being sharp, day in and day out, the old man has become the reference, the man the whole neighborhood measures itself against, the one young men quietly study, the name that comes up when anybody says, "Now that was a sharp man." Nathaniel Sharp, 84, is the man 3 generations on his Beale Street block in Memphis learned to dress by watching, and being told you remind an elder of him is the highest compliment a young man on that street can get. A young man's style is all borrowed and brand new. An old man's is proven, earned across 50 years of never once stepping out looking like less than himself. When such a man finally passes, the church fills with people who cannot dress like him and know it, and the young men there feel the standard leave the neighborhood with him. To be the standard is not something you can rush or purchase. You become it, one sharp, ordinary day at a time, until the young men are watching you the way you once watched the old men. That is a reputation no logo can buy. Number 2, he is never off. The old man does not have good days and bad days. He has good days and good days. He is sharp for church and sharp for the mailbox, sharp at a wedding and sharp buying a lottery ticket, sharp at 70 and sharp at 80. The consistency is the whole thing. There is no version of him that is let go, no Saturday slob under the Sunday gentleman. Clifton Rhodes has not had an unsharp day in the Treme of New Orleans in 40 years, and everyone who knows him knows it. A young man dresses up for the event and dresses down to nothing the rest of the time, so his sharpness is a costume he puts on and takes off. The old man's sharpness is not a costume. It is who he is, every hour of every day, and a thing that never switches off, never has to be switched back on. Consistency across a lifetime is what turns dressing into style. Number 1, he dresses for himself. The plainest habit on the list, and the one that old man at the diner counter would name above every other. He is not dressing for a woman or a photo or the approval of anybody on that block. He is dressing sharp on an ordinary Tuesday with no occasion and no audience, for one reason: he respects himself, and a man who respects himself does not step into the world looking like he does not care whether he is seen as somebody. That is the whole secret, and it is why the old man is sharper than men half his age, because their sharpness depends on an audience, and his depends on nothing but his own self-regard, and self-regard does not take days off. It was the first thing the old heads of his youth taught him without a word, just by being immaculate for no reason at all, and the last thing he is still teaching the young men who watch him now. Every other habit on this list, the fit, the press, the quiet colors, the last look in the mirror, is really just a way of doing that one thing, honoring yourself with how you show up every single day. The young man dresses for the world and goes slack the moment the world stops watching. The old man dresses for himself and is therefore never, ever not sharp. He dresses for an audience of one, and that one is the only one who was ever really watching. That is the whole of it. None of this required money or youth or anything a store could sell, which is exactly why an old man on a pension can do it and a young man on a paycheck cannot. It required a handful of plain, patient habits and one quiet decision underneath them all: that a man is worth the trouble of being put together every ordinary day, whether or not anyone is there to see. The old men who take their coffee sharp at the counter and press their own shirts for church and shine their shoes at the kitchen table the way their fathers did understood something this loud and hurried world has spent a fortune forgetting. That style was never about the clothes and never about the money and never ever about being young. It was about self-respect, made visible and carried consistently across a whole life. We still have these men for a little while yet. Go sit near one, study how he is put together, and then start doing it yourself on an ordinary Tuesday for no occasion and no audience, until one day a young man half your age looks up and cannot understand how an old man, spending almost nothing, not even seeming to try, is sharper than he will ever be.